SilkAir Private Limited, Chinese, a registered trademark Permel E Shèng'ān Hángkōng, is an airline with its head office in Airline House in Singapore. Previously it was on the fifth story of the SIA Superhub in Singapore. It is a wholly owned subsidiary of Singapore Airlines and operates scheduled passenger services from Singapore to 44 cities in Southeast Asia, the Indian Subcontinent, China and Australia. As the regional wing of Singapore Airlines, it serves the short-haul destinations in the Singapore Airlines Group network. In the year to March 31, 2013, the airline flew 3.3 million passengers and made an operating profit of 96.7 million Singapore dollars, as revenue rose 12.7% to $846.0 million. In 1997, the crash of SilkAir Flight 185 was thought by some to be the result of pilot suicide, which killed all passengers and crew on board. However, other investigative leads indicated that Flight 185 suffered the same malfunction as two Boeing 737 rudder issues. United Airlines Flight 585 and USAir Flight 427, where sudden and extreme unintended action of the 737 rudders would cause the aircraft to nose over into an uncontrollable descent. As of March 31, 2013, SilkAir employs 1,360 staff. History: the airline had its roots as a regional air charter company as Tradewinds Charters formed in 1976, and using planes predominantly leased from parent company Singapore Airlines serving leisure destinations. Scheduled services were introduced as Tradewinds Airlines on February 21, 1989, when it leased McDonnell Douglas MD-87 airplanes for services to 6 destinations: Bandar Seri Begawan, Pattaya, Phuket, Hat Yai and Kuantan from Singapore's Changi International Airport and Tioman from Singapore's Seletar Airport. As the carrier matured, regional business destinations such as Jakarta, Phnom Penh and Yangon were added to its network, thereby broadening the airline's appeal beyond the holidaymaker to include the business traveler. A major marketing overhaul was started in 1991, culminating on April 1, 1992. By giving the airline its present name and logo as a new corporate identity. The rebranded airline utilized up to 6 of the new Boeing 737-300s introduced just a year earlier. The mid-1990s saw 2 Airbus A310-200 aircraft in use in the expansion of services to India as well as mainland China. It was the first Asian carrier to offer handheld portable video on demand in-flight entertainment in the form of the Digger Player 5500, available on flights to selected countries. Business trends. The key business trends for SilkAir are shown in the following table, for each financial year ending March 31. Destinations. Code-share agreements. SilkAir has code-share agreements with the following airlines: Bangkok Airways, Garuda Indonesia, Malaysia Airlines, Shenzhen Airlines, Singapore Airlines, Virgin Australia. Fleet. SilkAir began operations with 2 leased McDonnell Douglas MD-87 aircraft in 1989, before investing in its own fleet of 6 Boeing 737-300s, the first of which began operations in 1997. It operated 2 Airbus A310-200s for a brief period from 1993 to 1995 before they were transferred to Singapore Airlines, and 2 Fokker 70s from 1995 to 2000. It began replacing its Boeing fleet with Airbus aircraft when the first Airbus A320-200 arrived on September 18, 1998, and retired all Boeing aircraft a year later. Soon after its first A320 was delivered, SilkAir took delivery of its first A319-100 aircraft on September 3, 1999. The A319 is currently utilized on certain routes within Southeast Asia, and to some cities in India, while the larger A320 is used on most of the airline's major routes. On December 20, 2006, SilkAir signed an agreement to purchase 11 Airbus A320-200 aircraft with 9 more on option. These aircraft will be delivered between 2009 to 2012. On August 3, 2012, SilkAir had signed a letter of intent with Boeing for a purchase of 68 aircraft. The agreement includes a firm order for 23 Boeing 737 to 831 Boeing 737 MAX 8 aircraft, and purchase rights for another 14 aircraft. On November 14, 2012, the commitment was then converted to a firm order. The 737 aircraft will be used to replace the older A320 fleet and for the expansion of the airline. On February 4, 2014, SilkAir received its first Boeing 737-800 aircraft. The SilkAir fleet consists of the following aircraft. Cabins. There are two classes of cabins available on all SilkAir flights: Euro Business Class and Economy Class. Business Class cabins are available on all SilkAir flights. The business class cabins offer a seat pitch of between 39 to 40 inches and legroom of 19.30 inches. Business class passengers now receive leather seats which are on all Airbus 319s, and most Airbus 320s. Economy class. All economy class cabins on SilkAir have a seat pitch of 31 inches and legroom of 12 inches. Economy class now features a new autumn color scheme. The older seats found in some of the older A320s are blue-green. Onboard amenities. Dining. SilkAir offers Oriental and Western menus. Entertainment. SilkAir offers a selection of magazine titles on board and screens a series of short features on their in-flight screens. SilkAir In-Flight magazine, SilkWins, is complimentary for all passengers. It is published every month. Wireless in-flight entertainment. SilkAir has started a wireless in-flight entertainment system trial on one of its Airbus A320 aircraft. The system allows passengers to stream movies, TV programs and music directly onto their personal devices while on a flight. They can then access the content through their laptops, tablets and smartphones. This service is free for all passengers. Tradewinds Tours and Travel. Tradewinds Tours and Travel Private Limited is a wholly owned subsidiary of SilkAir, providing package tours to destinations flown by the airline, as well as chartered flights within the Asia region. The company was incorporated in 1975, and became a fully licensed tour operator in 1984. SilkAir, the regional wing of Singapore Airlines, was once known as Tradewinds Charters at its founding in 1976, before earning its present name in 1991. The chartered operations were hence continued to be handled by Tradewinds Tours and Travel. Awards. The airline won successive Best Regional Airline, Southeast Asia in 2009 and 2010 by Skytrax at each year's respective World Airlines Awards. In October 2011, SilkAir was awarded the Regional Airline of the Year by the Center for Aviation, an aviation research body. Incidents and accidents. On December 19, 1997, SilkAir Flight 185, operated by a Boeing 737-300 and piloted by Captain Tu Wei Ming, plunged into the Musi River in Sumatra during a routine flight from Jakarta to Singapore, killing all 104 people on board. The crash was investigated by various groups, with different results. The Indonesian NTSC, who were lead investigators, stated that they were unable to determine the cause, while the U.S. NTSB concluded that the crash resulted from an intentional act by a pilot, most likely the captain. A civil lawsuit case against Parker Hannifin, the manufacturer of the PCU dual servo unit that is essential in the control the rudder of the 737, suspected in causing the crashes of United Airlines Flight 585 and USAir Flight 427 under similar flight event parameters, had provided the NTSB the initial test results of the recovered PCU dual servo unit from Flight 185 in 1997, but was later further independently investigated for litigation on behalf of some families of Flight 185 passengers in a civil lawsuit against Parker Hannifin. The jury under the Superior Court in Los Angeles in 2004, which was not allowed to hear or consider the NTSB conclusions, decided that the crash was caused by a prominent issue inherent in other 737 crashes, a defective servo valve inside the power control unit which controls the aircraft's rudder, causing a rudder hardover and a subsequent uncontrollable crash. The manufacturer of the aircraft's rudder controls and the families later reached an out-of-court settlement. References External links. Official website, SilkAir Aircraft, SilkAir offices address and contact no.